So kia ora everybody, welcome to another episode of the Avondale Pavilion project. We're tuning in live from Avondale, January 2022. We're here in a new year and we have a very special guest with us from Wellington. We have Bone.
How's it going, Bobby?
All good, bro. Thank you so much for coming up.
No stress, bro. Real excited to be here and to have a go at this. Been watching it for the last little while, so yeah, interesting shapes, man.
For people that don't know what the Avondale Pavilion project is, I'll just give you a little bit of a rundown first. So it's a project that's in partnership with Panuku Development and Unitec School of Architecture. And Unitec's basically, the architecture students have basically built this pavilion structure, and it's been placed into the Avondale Art Park, which is surrounded by a graffiti art wall, a legal graffiti art wall. And the whole idea is that each month we get an artist to come along and update the pavilion with their own artwork and respond to this particular structure. And so for this month, who we have is Bone, and he's come all the way up from Wellington to join us and contribute an incredible artwork here today. And so to kind of delve into it, I want to, I guess, get a little bit of an idea of who you are as a person and how you kind of started off painting. So could you tell us how you got into art?
Yeah, I'm a little bit of a late bloomer in the art world. I had a child on the way at about 25, and I was working in a mediocre job and decided, hey, I'm gonna give something a go, I guess, before I'm changing nappies and not very happy in my roles. But so I went to art school at about 25. Sort of had the intention of getting into tattooing because I've always been like quite influenced by tattoo. But somewhere along the way I found like street art, found like murals, not so much graffiti at that time. And yeah, felt like I had like a pretty good knack of a spray can, or something was speaking to me, from that media. So since then I've been painting murals around the community, established in Wellington. Not until recently I've sort of been experimenting with graffiti, so that's still a fairly new thing for me. I'm finding that it has a really interesting place in my practice where I get to, I guess, explore and experiment and not be so directed by a brief or by a client. And it's like you can do whatever the fuck you want, really, and that's awesome.
When did you know you wanted to go to art school?
I was working for Resine, paint company, and I was basically just like tinting paint and all that shit. And they asked me to do like a little shop display, and I made this like cardboard chicken. So I like cut it out and I painted it with test pots. And the people that I was working with, they were sort of like, oh fuck, that actually looks alright, eh? Like, do you do art? And I was like, nah, no experience whatsoever. But I guess then and there I was like, oh well, something sort of trying to show itself, and like I'm not really interested in my job, so I better give something one decent shot. And yeah, this place, the Learning Connection in Lower Hutt, was sort of calling to me. I was this big colourful building, drove past it every day. I was like, fuck, what is that place, man? Like, I bet you they do some cool shit there. So I finally went in anyway, and they did me like a little tour, and I guess that's where it all started for me.
The Learning Connection, what is that? It's
like a tertiary institution, so they teach a wide range of the arts, from 3D sculpture, photography, painting, drawing, I guess whatever you want to do. So it's mainly art, but different kinds of art. So like, they've got their own like kilns there, and they even do like bronze pouring. So they've got a pretty extravagant experiences that you can like sort of dive into if you wanted to try something that you've never tried before. I think I was pretty basic at the time. Now I was like, I just want to be able to draw.
And so how long did you spend at the Learning Connection?
I did my certificate, so level 4, level 5, level 6, so about 3 years. Following that, I went out and did murals for a bit. Couldn't really find my place in the art scene quite yet. And yeah, I ended up working for them, teaching correctional students for 2 years, which was also really cool. But that sort of, I didn't go to art school to work like a 9-to-5 job. Like, I went to art school because I wanted to do something that I'm passionate about, and that little step, which was awesome, it just helped me sort of confirm that I need to be creating, and it's what I love to do, I guess.
Could you tell me a little bit about what you just said about the correctional stuff?
Yeah.
What did that kind of involve?
So basically, helping correctional students to get their certificate or their degree in the arts. So ways of upskilling them while they're inside and all that.
Was that mostly youth or was it adults as well?
It was the whole range, I guess. Yeah. So anyone that was sort of interested, pretty sure they all had the ability to be able to engage with it. Yeah.
And so when you were doing that, or after you did that for 2 years, what was the biggest kind of learning experience that you gained from that?
Everyone has the ability to be creative. It's such a diverse language that it can heal. You know, it can help anyone, man. Like it's anyone will tell you that's a creative, that they just get lost in this sort of trance when they're doing it. You know.
Why is creativity important to you?
I think it's something that's still new to me. You know, like I think for me it's a sense of achieving or creating something. You know, like it helps me to decipher, you know, who I am and what I'm doing, and yeah, it's in a form that seems like it's connected to me. Yeah. Not to be all hippy dippy or anything.
Yeah. With the art stuff, you said you started to, after you left the Learning Connection, you started trying to do murals and things like that. Was there someone or a group of people that you linked up with after that, after you finished studying, or has this kind of been a relatively like solo journey? Or
I guess at the start, murals, you know, they have been a solo journey. It's very much there was a lot of reaching out on Facebook and looking for opportunities, and you know, doing it for next to nothing. But you know, I can't dog that, because that sort of helped me to get the skills that I have, and it's helped me to get to the point where I am. But I mean, along the way, I've learned that, you know, creating with other people, it makes it that much more interesting, right? Like you're sharing this passion that, you know, you can't just explain it to anyone really. Like people can just be like, oh yeah, that's a pretty picture or whatever. But when there's someone that really is speaking the same language as you in the arts, you know, it's like
you're vibing, man.
Like yeah. And I get that with you know, a couple of my mates. You know, one of my mates, K's and Skies, from Graffiti Realm. You know, the dudes are a hell of a buzz. They're doing different stuff, like, you know, on a daily, weekly basis, and I think it's that healthy competition that I've heard a lot on these podcasts as well. You know, like it pays to be active with other people so that you can learn and you can share. You know, that's what helps you evolve as an artist, I think. So. Yeah.
And within the art itself, what types of art do you like creating?
I like my figurative work, so I get into a lot of like painting animals and people and stuff. I find that's where a lot of the trajectory is for my murals. But you know, I also like being out of my comfort zone, out of my depth. You know, like the likes of this project was crazy for that reason. You know, just all these weird facets and planes. But yeah, I'd say I sit in the figurative realm. You know, I get stuck on characters a bit. But yeah, this graph thing's new, but like letters are a vibe too, eh? Like they're so much fun, man. Like you can just twist and warp so much. Like.
What draws you to what you just said about doing figurative stuff?
I think for one, like it's nice to just probably at the start when I was learning to, because I spent like 3 hours a night trying to learn how to draw portraits and stuff, and a lot of that was probably for like the reason that I wanted to know how to do it, for maybe a bit of recognition of you knowing how to do it, which is so stupid in hindsight thinking about it, right? Like, yeah. But now it's like I like the challenge. Like I just, you know, and I like that every time I tackle a new animal or a new person, or if even if I'm doing the same animal, it shows that you work hard, because it fucking evolves, man. Like it keeps, you know, yeah. I don't feel stagnant, even though I do produce the same things at times. So yeah, the figurative stuff's cool, because I just, yeah, I don't know, I definitely resonate with like animals and shit and nature. Like that's a vibe for me. You know, people are our closest, you know, connections. So like, I don't know, man, probably just I'm reflecting what's immediately around me or some shit.
What are some of the things that influence you in your art?
Influenced by family, influenced by current affairs, influenced by memories, influenced by hobbies, whether it's, I like anime and video games and stuff.
Favorite video game? What is it?
Oh, I just reclocked Tony Hawk
Ooh.
Pro Skater 1 and 2 on Nintendo Switch, which was a vibe just to go back there. I don't know, man. I've wasted like days and days on Fortnite. There's too many. The Last of Us was really good on PlayStation. That was the zombie one where you were sort of like, it was the story was like quite hectic.
And favorite anime?
I'm a bit of a sucker for Naruto, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. Just that whole story. Not sure what I think about Boruto, but it's like, it's starting to get good. It's all good. Just different creators, right? Like different vibes.
Take me back to this work that you've created for this particular pavilion.
Cool.
Obviously, we've got a very interesting structure. It's not just a wall, but what you've painted today or created today is based on these Lego blocks. So what is the inspiration for this?
Well, I low-key have like this other project happening. It's not really low-key because when you're covered in tattoos and people see your face, or like your tattoo. But anyway, it's this block vandal project, and I've noticed that a lot of my community are getting like this. I don't know. It's like hope. It's like it's many things. Enjoyment. Like I just probably sum it to that. It's just enjoyment. And basically the premise behind that project is, at the start, was just literally activating a tired retaining wall that was made with circular bricks, and my instant thought driving past it was, yo, that's a Lego head. I approached the council years ago and I was like, I'd really like to create this, and they're like, oh well, because it's an asset, we can't let you paint it because the engineers can't monitor the structural integrity. And in my head I was like,
but these are bricks.
I was like, these are bricks, man. Like, I'm sure the paint will act as a glue and help your structural integrity.
Basically.
Yeah, but so anyway, hanging out with my mates at the time who were into the graph. This was before I was into graph, and I just watched these videos, and I just got this hella vibe from watching all these like trains and stuff, and I was like, bro, I'm just gonna go put a high vis on and do it. So I painted these Lego heads, and the community just got 100% behind it, and it's been really good. I find that I get like just as many adults as kids, asking me, when's the next one, so it's like, it's obviously like diverse it doesn't hold any in age, like, and because like each one you sort of like, you get all these requests, like people wanting different different stories, whether it's Lord of the Rings or Star Wars or whatever. There's literally a different head to cater for a different group, so you can incorporate like the whole community on that wall, and I think that's the beauty behind the project. So I guess reflecting back from that project, with this pavilion project, I wanted to sort of do that same thing with the activating of a space. It's obvious, it's such a weird, it's a weird shape, man. It's quite scary, for us 2D artists to look at something like that and go, oh yeah, we're going to create something on that. But so yeah, I did some more 3D work. I built some of the planes in cardboard. Obviously made all the Lego clips on top, which was a bit of a nightmare. I just spent fucking 3 hours cutting PVC pipe. But
I think one thing that I really like, and I mentioned it earlier, is the idea of Lego blocks are such a, I don't want to say nostalgic, it's partially nostalgic, but also it's something that comes from the kids' realm, but then you're placing it into a relatively adult, kind of environment, or context, and it's quite interesting to see people respond to it, because from a distance, the moment they look at it, it's something that they can resonate with.
For sure. Oh man, I hope they come down and look at it and touch it and whatever, like, obviously they're not Lego bricks that unclip, but if they want to figure that out for themselves and they're intrigued enough to do that, then I mean, that's sort of I feel like that's a win, like. It's
a total win, and actually looking at it makes me feel like I want to take bits off or add bits to it, and like, it actually it makes me feel like I want to engage with the structure more.
For sure.
Which is quite interesting.
Yeah, I hope people get that vibe. I mean, it's, as I say, it's such a weird thing to just paint on. Like, I felt like it needed to be built on. I'm not a 3D artist by any means, but it might open up something new for me. Like, I really enjoyed it.
There's two other kind of domains of discussion that I kind of want to have with you, and the other one is about tattoos. So you're obviously heavily covered in tattoos. You've also told me that You do tattooing. So what's your kind of journey been in that realm?
I guess I started when I was like 19. I was doing a scuba diving apprenticeship with my old man and his mates and stuff, and at the time. But I did my scuba instructor's course, and through there I met one of my old man's best friends. His son was doing it at the same time as me, so it was my dad who was the instructor that was teaching us, and this other guy whose son was on the course with me. So it was like our fathers and us learning. Anyway, at the time, the bro got Te got his tāmoko done, and I was like thinking, oh fuck, that looks mean. At the time I was diving into a little bit of whakairo with a family friend who was also into diving, and I asked him if he'd draw me up my first one. He drew it up for me, and I started there with moko on my back, just to represent my immediate whānau, my immediate family.
And what iwi are you?
I'm Tainui affiliated, but being from Wellington, and the people I'm with down there, Te Awa, I really resonate with that area, the people down there. But yeah, Tainui technically, I guess, through blood. But that's when my tattoo journey started. I was hooked from there. I got a lot of tattoos really quickly, and I didn't start tattooing until the first COVID lockdown. I was borderline, or I was just drinking way too much piss, and I pulled out this little Chinese machine that I had, and I was like, oh, I want to have a go with this.
Where did you get that?
I got it from a mate that had he was dabbling with it as well, but he decided that it wasn't for him, and I always told him I wanted to get into it, so I had it there, but I never had the guts to use it. So yeah, a couple bourbons too many, started tattooing my own legs, and I realized, this is fucking hard, but this is fun. So I sort of just been giving myself a little bit more time to play with that. So I do that 2 days a week at the moment, and it helps me to expand my creativity. I don't want to be a one-trick pony with my art. I like to think that I'm always evolving, and that helps my enjoyment with it as well. Yeah, so now I'm in a shop 2 days a week, tattooing mainly black and grey, still learning colour packing and stuff.
And what type of tattoos are you creating? Is it quite different than what you were doing within your kind of, I guess, fine art?
A lot of black and grey, reproductions of anime characters or characters. But I like to give them my own twist, whether they're holding a spray can or they're tattooed in their own right or whatever. Change their hair, put a hat on, whatever. So a lot of that stuff. I find it interesting because I've been sort of getting stuck in that little trap of, oh man, I could do 4 Roman numeral tattoos today and make, more than enough money, and but then you're not enjoying yourself as a creative. So yeah, it's a hard I'll just tattoo 20 names in a week and that'll be fine because I'll pay the bills. Whereas that's I don't want to sell out, but but for me that's a bit sell out. I'd rather invest time in creating these designs that I love, and if people want to get them, that's cool, because that means that they're resonating with my stuff. But figuring out some sort of niche market there where you're creating stuff that you genuinely like, you're not just doing it for the money. That's not the reason that any of us creatives are doing what we're doing. So I don't think so.
And how do you think an aspiring creative can get to that space where they can feel enabled to create what they want to make in this world?
I guess looking for the opportunities to do so. If it's a relatively new place to be for you, then it probably is a bit of sucking the lemon and looking for opportunities for not much. But I mean, experience is more valuable than as a creative. Creatives are worth a lot of money. We're specialists at what we do. People look for us. We don't usually look for other people But I think it would be just looking for opportunities, making the most of them, treating them as this is how I'm building my skill set, and realizing when it's time for you to know your worth, I guess. I don't know. That's how I did it, I guess.
And with your tattooing, is that something that you are hoping to do more of, or keep it to a 2 day per week kind of thing, or is there a particular vision for that?
Nah, I guess I'm just following the creative journey, and just whatever I gravitate towards. I couldn't give up murals. I do enjoy them. I like the balance of being outside and inside. You know, I did that desk job where I was teaching prisoners, like, you know, sitting at a desk 5 days a week. My body hated that, man. Like, I was craving to just move.
There's a sense of physicality, right, when you're out there painting murals?
Definitely. Once you get in that trance, man, like, I'm type 1 diabetic as well, so like if I'm not checking my shit, like I can just run out of energy in a second. And my mates that I paint with, they all know that they have to sort of keep an eye on me too. But that's that creative, you know, once you're in that zone, I guess, eh?
Yeah, totally. And I guess with the mural stuff as well, do you often do much of the studio-based work?
For murals?
Like, do you have many exhibitions and things like that?
No, not so much. But I do get into like making t-shirt designs. I'm doing a bit of graphic design for other like clothing labels and stuff, which I've been really enjoying. I had a studio space a long time ago, but I think that was before I transitioned into my teaching job, and I couldn't do both at the same time. But I did do a bit of printing in there, a bit of print stuff.
Screen printing?
Screen printing back at TLC. That was a big enjoyment. I did a bit of that. I should have done more. Yeah, making t-shirts and stuff now, it's like I'd kill to have my own, like, you know, rotary printer and my own studio space and all the inks and squeeze, all that stuff, yeah.
There's the mural world / art world. There's the tattoo world. And third comes, not in any particular order, but comes the graffiti world.
Yeah.
So could you tell me a little bit about how you got into graph?
Okay.
What is that journey like?
Yeah, like graph back in the day, I remember being I was at Mount Albert Grammar School in my early years, and I remember a couple of my mates, they were into graph. Names back then were like Laps and Slinko and Brother Glare. Yeah, a few other boys, they were all into it. I only ever really watched and tried to do some like crappy straights in my, you know, school books. Didn't really get into it heavy like them. But that's probably one of my earliest memories of graph, just like seeing them. Also driving past Morningside and probably seeing the likes of your guys' stuff. This would have been like 2005 to 2008 maybe, like in that realm, maybe a bit earlier. But yeah, driving Morningside to go to the basketball courts, remember looking at that wall going, whoa, people do that with spray cans. And also lived in New Lynn for a bit, and the train tracks that backed up there, like where the there's a little bowl down there that I used to skate at. Yeah, always pieces along that wall and
Bob
stuff.
Hill?
Yeah, Bob Hill, bro. Yeah, used to go skating down there. Yeah, man. I always remember it, like the, you know, colourful visions from back in the day. But in terms of actually diving into it, I'm only about 2 years in, so yeah. It's been a really interesting journey because I think I've sort of hit it backwards to what most people do. Most people will, like, you know, grow up with graph and then they might find murals if they want to continue like using aerosols making money. Whereas my buzz was I sort of had already done the murals, and then my mates sort of encouraged me to come out one day, and I think I was driving down the road, seen this, trying to figure out a name, and I seen this bone and fracture clinic, and I was like, oh yeah, bone. Bone. And I realised that my letters are pretty crap, but that's alright. It's cool to, there's a million possibilities, right, with your letters, like you can push and pull, and I think graffiti for me is that, like it's, I hold that name quite close. I like the idea of changing up and trying to bring something different to the table, the same way that my mates do, so that we can continue evolving, I guess.
And who are some stylistic influences that you take from within the graffiti world?
I really like the likes of Kuma, how he incorporates characters. Same thing with Mick. This fella called Yours, I think. He does these like real interesting scenes with characters within his letters. Fella Caesar. He does the real
super conceptual pieces.
Super conceptual.
He's so good, right?
So that shit blows me away a bit. And then the likes of, you know, you guys, Has a Burst, fella Sweat from overseas. He's crazy. Got his own colour. That's pretty cool. Waste MTS, Rhyme MSK, Hombre SUK. Yeah, there's a few.
What draws you to all of those writers that you just listed?
Probably having their own way of doing things. The fact that they are unique within themselves. You know, they're not trying to follow any norm or anything that's happening. They've essentially like made their own thing within their graffiti, and I think that's fucking cool. It's something that I hope to do, I think, with my graffiti. Just got to keep pushing.
And what do you think is the secret to innovation?
Well, instantly what pops in my head from graffiti is allowing yourself to just fucking try things and not holding any attachment to what you're doing. I think there's a time and a place where you need to be like really execute what you're doing, like, you know, but when you're out there, man, throw those limbs around, you know, flare lines, do weird marks, side flares, whatever. I always try and do something different and going back to how do you innovate. For me, it's not holding too much attachment to what I'm doing.
I know that alongside graffiti, you're part of a crew. What crew are you in?
MBCK.
Crew members. How many crew members do you have?
Jeez, I think it would be roughly 10 members.
Wow.
Yep, there's a few of us.
And so how does being part of a crew help your graffiti? Or what dynamic does that kind of bring?
I think it's that thing where you just, you know, you have each other to bounce off. It's more than just, it's like a mad appreciation for people that go out and do solo missions and that's their thing. I think creativity is a friendly game for me. Like I like watching what people do. I like getting geared up because they're doing some dope shit. I hope I can do the same for my mates too. So, yeah.
Like you mentioned before that you grew up here in Auckland for a little period of time, but then you've moved down to Wellington.
Yep.
Is there much of a graffiti scene down in Wellington?
I mean, there's people doing things, yeah, for sure. Yep, people are up. Definitely noticed the difference in the activity just coming up here for a visit though. Like, I think there are people that dive in each area, and there are some people that dive in both. Personally, I would much rather make a half a day of something and go and paint a piece and have a couple beers or whatever. Maybe a swim if you're in the right spot. Nah, there's people bombing for sure. Wellington, I mean, I'm from Hutt Valley, and Hutt Valley's away from the city, so I find that, you know, if you live in the city, then you probably have more of a chance of, you know, seeing more bombing or being more active in the bombing scene or whatever. You know, our communities are pretty small over the Hutt, so if you get too crazy, there's not too many people to point fingers at, right?
Yeah. I guess out of these three worlds that we've kind of just touched on, you've got kids, right?
Little boy, little girl, 5 and 3.
5 and 3. How do you find a balance between all of those three things and then still having family time?
That's probably something that I'm still figuring out, to be honest. I'm really fortunate that, you know, my wife is such an amazing mother and able to help me to do what I do. She's just finished study and she's about to jump into a big role, so, you know, maybe it's time for me to show her that she can do that stuff too.
Because you're doing all of this art stuff full time, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep, this is how I make my keep. Yep, murals and tattooing. I don't think I've had a paid graffiti gig yet. Yeah. I don't know how you get those.
How supported do you feel as a creative staying down in Welly or Hutt Valley?
Well supported, because, you know, I started my journey with TLC, which was such a communal institution that was just so inclusive and everyone wanted to help each other. And so, more than taking creative skills from being there, I took, you know, people skills and, you know, learning to be a better person and to help others and be less, you know, selfish or whatever. So I found that place has really helped me to nurture some awesome relationships, and also have some people that I know I can always bounce off with creativity, you know. I got a couple of mentors I look up to down there, which I have good conversations with, you know, once every couple of weeks. So yeah, there's great support down there. There's a lot of people doing what we do.
And so what has been the greatest challenge that you've faced being a creative, whether it be in the tattoo or mural or graffiti world, and then how you've also overcome it?
I think a big challenge for me as a creative is that I need to see a result, or I need to see something very fast to be enticed and to stay engaged. If something's not going right, then, you know, I'll sort of try and work through that problem and spend hard hours trying to get through it. The way that I managed to get over that was if something's not working, man, I just leave it alone. In terms of murals, like I'll just go away. I'll give it a few hours, or I'll give it the night. I'll come back the next day, and guarantee all the time I will spend 5 minutes fixing the problem because I've deciphered it, as opposed to me spending 3 hours destroying it and having to fix that the next day. My biggest problem as a creative is not stepping away, I think, but now I'm able to do that. I'm able to say, look, you're going to be here tomorrow. Like, I don't need to finish you today. I can come back, and that helped me a lot, I think.
One of the things I want to know is, so you've got these three kind of art worlds that are kind of parallel to each other. Do you have any big projects coming up?
So in terms of murals, me and my colleague, my business partner, we've been painting these burger establishments. So we were fortunate enough to get one, and we got their second burger establishment, and they've just said to us that they want us to paint their third one that they're franchising and opening up. So that's in February. I've got tattoo bookings are always there, so that'll keep ticking along. Other than that, man, I don't know. Like my wife's doing big things this year, so there's no doubt that murals will keep ticking along. I don't have anything too big on the horizon. I'm just living in it.
Those sound like great things that are on the table.
Yeah. No, every project is cool because you always upskill, right? Every time you're out there, you're just clocking up your hours. I don't know how many hours they say you need to be a master or whatever, but...
Well, all right. Thank you so much, Bone, for joining us. We really appreciate your insight and hearing a little bit of your backstory about all of these kind of three worlds that you're kind of involved in at the moment. Really look forward to seeing where you take it over the next couple of years in each of these spaces. I'm sure you're going to do an incredible job. Hope you've enjoyed coming up to Auckland, and hope it's been a good time. Hope you had some good downtime with your family, and we obviously really appreciate that you're taking your time, especially during the summer season when everybody just wants a bit of downtime to come paint and contribute to this awesome project that we've been doing here.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it. It's been so much fun, eh?
One more thing is, did you want to make any shout outs to anyone?
Obviously to my homies down in Wellington, the MBCK, Big Lock holding it down, Big Stovey doing his thing, Big K's, Big Noel, Big Skies, Big Sis. I hope I haven't forgotten any of the boys.
If you have, it's unintentional. I put them on the spot.
I love you, brothers. Just to my family for helping me to do what I do and supporting me. Thanks, babe. Thanks, kids.
So, just kind of in closing, once again, we've got every month we've got a different artist coming on board, and the next person that we've got is Tex. He'll be painting the next pavilion. So make sure you guys stay tuned, and if you like the content, make sure you like, subscribe, and drop us a comment below, and let us know who you'd like to see next in the pavilion. And otherwise, stay tuned for the next project. Thanks.